From soldier to board gamer to YouTuber, this is Board Game Officer. Welcome back. Today we're doing a review of Kinfire Delve Callous Lab. Now this is going to be a 1 to 2 player cooperative and tactical card game where you're going to be going through this well deck, fighting your way through it, finally defeating a master of the well at the end. Once you defeat the Master Well at the end, you have the victory as long as you didn't die. So we'll go over what my thoughts are on this game. But first, let's just go over a quick overview of what the game is. This is going to be just very high level. So you're going to have the choice of two characters here that you could play as. As I said, this is 1 to 2 players, so you can play true solo, or you can, you could double hand it too if you really wanted to. But it is 1 to 2 players, so you choose one of your heroes here. You have a choice of 3 Masters of the Well. You will randomly select one, place it face down, and then you are going to place well cards orthogonally adjacent to it. Now there's 4 steps to a player's turn. First thing you're going to do is from your hand, you're going to play one of your cards as an action. These are the action cards here. As you can see, they have a number up in the top. That number correlates to the number at the top of these well cards that we have to attack. So that number is how many progress we get to place on that well card. When that well card has enough progress equal to or greater than that number, then we have defeated that card. You gain its reward. However, if you put progress tokens on it and you did not defeat it, you'll take that penalty. There you go. You'll have to take that penalty in the game. As an action, you're going to place one card down on that for that progress card. Then you have the chance to boost any action. At the bottom of each card, it tells you what the boost will do. You can boost up to twice. If you are playing if you're playing multiple players, you cannot boost your own cards. However, if you're playing solo, obviously you can boost your own things, but you still can only boost up to 2 times. Once you have boosted as much as you wanted, you are going to take these dice here, roll them, and if any of these dice color matches the card played, so this one actually can't be played. The colors do have to match. So I should have seen that, but the colors do have to match. Place the progress. If any of these dice match, that's added progress onto that. This one here, if it's a white, it matches. It's an extra progress no matter what color. If it's a black, it's just a miss. And this dice is basically 50-50 to add, and then these have 2 of each color on them. So then after you roll the dice, you will apply all the progress to that card from your action card, from your boost, from the dice, and like I said, if it adds up to that number, you will gain a reward. If it does not, then you will take whatever that penalty is. Once you play your card, you put it in your discard pile, and you do not draw a new hand. What you have to do, if you want to draw a new hand, at any time, whether you have 0 cards or 5 cards, you will discard your entire hand. You will take one of these exhausted cards, draw one, and place it. These are all going to be negative. Like this one is, each time you discard 1 or more cards from your hand, discard 1 extra card. So now that becomes a passive negative ability, basically, that your character has. And you can draw a whole new hand, whatever your hand limit is. Hand limit is just depending on however many players you're playing, however many characters you're playing. And that is how you gain a new hand. You are going to do this as you destroy these. You're going to be going through this well deck here. As soon as this well deck is completely gone through, that is when you will flip over the Master of the Well card. You will discard any remaining well cards there, and you will place the what are these called? I don't remember what these the cards are called, but these are always going to be the same no matter which master you play. These are the 4 cards you'll place around it. You are unable to attack the master until one of these are turned over. Once you defeat one of these, they become vulnerable to that color. So once you defeat the blue guy, flip that over, now you can attack the Master of the Well with these blue cards. And you keep going around until you have 25 progress, or until your health is down to 0. And that is pretty much the game. Very simple game. Now let's kind of go through my pros and cons here. So a couple things that I really like is these two characters feel very different. The whole deck is different, therefore they have different actions. Each character has a character card that has a passive ability on it, which both of them feel very different. They each have what they call a lantern card, which is basically a powerful card that's one-time use powerful card that can be recharged depending on the rewards that you get from defeating some of the well card monsters. And they're both very different, so I really do enjoy how different they are. Which goes into the next thing of each game is going to feel pretty different because you're going to have different hand. You're going to have, if you play different hero, you're going to have different well cards you're going through. I mean, obviously this is a nice thick deck. Okay, so each combination is going to be different of what's out there. Each of these well cards going to have some passive ability. Some of them, they're only active when you challenge that card. Some of them are active as long as it's out in the well. So the variety there, that's the word I was looking for. The variety is actually really good in this game. It's going to feel different each time with the heroes and depending on the master, and the well cards, just the randomness of the well card. I do like the strategicness of it, right? Because it is a card game. So boosting is not always advantageous to you. Well, excuse me. Because it hurts you have to get hurt to draw more cards, so you really have to be strategic in the cards you play and how much you boost, and willing to take some of the penalties just so you're not losing so many cards in one turn. And I am a dice guy, so even though it's a card game, they included dice, which I really do enjoy just because I like rolling dice. I'm a dice guy. And that's pretty much all the pros. Now let's go into some of the cons. Because this kind of goes off that variety, because everything is so variable, there were multiple times where there was like 4 reds or 3 reds and a green, and yet in my hand all I had was blues. So I had to almost waste a whole hand just because I didn't have the right colors. Which I understand, that's randomness, but that was a little frustrating because I felt like it happened more times than it should. But maybe it's just because it bothered me, so I recognized it more. I don't know. But that was a kind of frustrating thing. The fact that these well cards, each of them have a different ability. If it's bolded, that means it's active, as I was saying, just if it's out there. If it's not bolded, then it's only active when you attack or challenge that well card, which is great. But because they're changing in and out, I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm just too simple-minded, but I had a hard time keeping track. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that card is out there now. Or, oh yeah, that card's not out there. I can do that. Just because they're changing, so it felt like the rules were changing a lot, which does add to the variety of it, but also took a little, or it made it a little hard to keep track of what cards are out there, what rules are in, because that card is out there, which ones aren't, because that card's not out there anymore. Anyways. So that was a little frustrating. And I do feel like it's a little bit long for its game, because this is a really thick deck. Now, this is a negative because I feel like it overstays its welcome just a little bit. But they do have a way to do it. Basically, if if you want a shorter game, just discard 13 cards at the beginning. So basically, you can make this well deck as thin as you want. You know, if you really want, you can half it. Make it really easy on yourself, but you can half it, make it much shorter. So the negative is that I do feel like it overstays its welcome according to the rulebook, but it's kind of a pro because it's very easy to mitigate that if you so desire. So my overall thought was this: it was a fun strategic game. Probably not high up on my list for a solo game. I only played it solo. I might be interested in trying it 2-player just to see how different that is. So there is my review. Let me know if you've played this game or any questions you have. Put them down in the comments below, and I will see you later.